Hello and welcome everyone to the Sharmit podcast. Today I am here with another special guest, Mike Riggs. Mike is the director of the Department of Judicial Information Technology at the Office of Executive Secretary, Supreme Court of Virginia. Mike brings a wealth of experience and insight into the intersection of law and technology. Not only this, as an IBM champion, Mike is recognized for his outstanding contribution to the tech community, particularly in promoting IBM technologies to drive innovation and efficiency in the public sector. So, in this episode, we will discuss his professional experiences and the valuable lessons he has learned throughout his career. But before we start the discussion, I would like to thank Mike for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us something about yourself.
Well, thank you, Matt. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you asking me to join. Um, I'm Mike Riggs. I was born and raised here in Virginia. Have the current privilege of working for the Supreme Court of Virginia. My career started back in high school as a check sorter, actually, and became engrossed with technology through the opportunities that initial job gave me. Um, I'm somewhat of a self-learned mainframer, if you will. I taught myself COBOL and assembler and some Rex while going to community college at night. My initial ambition was to be a firefighter, and so I've got fire science courses behind me from that Tidewater Community College. My family is all in Virginia. I have some down in North Carolina as well, but enjoy time golfing, spending time with the grandchildren, and flying occasionally.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike, for sharing all these details with us. And now we would love to hear more about your professional journey, like how your journey began. So, can you share like your journey to becoming the director of the Department of Judicial Information Technology at the Supreme Court of Virginia? Like how everything was planned and how you achieved such a precious profile in your work.
Thank you. Yeah, certainly. Again, to just expound on my check sorter job for a commercial bank, that led me into again taking additional courses in programming. Went through converting off the IBM 36075 at that bank and kind of shadowed the system engineer working on then now, and that really sparked an interest. Over time, I became supervisor as well as manager of all computer operators in that space. Continuing on working for the commercial bank for several years until the bank merger craze got the better part of me. They were going to transition me to another state. I heard of an opening at the Supreme Court of Virginia for a system engineer. I applied and was gratefully accepted into the position here to maintain the VSC systems that they had running under VM here. At the time it was a 4361 mainframe, and we have fortunately been able to migrate to almost every mainframe that's come out from IBM since then. Again, gaining knowledge, gaining expertise, and gaining technology for the court systems in that space. Continued on in management here, taking over the systems and application development team. It's consisted of DBAs, computer operators, and some other technicians. Again, we were migrating big mainframe guy, attended all the IBM technology courses I could in mainframe space, joined all the user groups that I could possibly get involved in, and that networking, that camaraderie at those events really helped me spearhead my career in management here. Became a deputy director in short order and assisted the director in that role for several years. And when he decided to make a career change, I guess I was the natural step in to that position. It was more than just a technology position. It's more on the admin side of the court as well. So that was a big learning curve for me. But I have to say I've thoroughly enjoyed my career to this point, seeing what we've been able to do from a technology space. Again, leveraging IBM, their technologies, and most importantly, the community that comes along with that.
Okay, all right. And if we talk about the technical expertise, then as you mentioned, you have good expertise and exposure on mainframe systems, right? So how do you see the mainframe system now? Like as we know that there are some myth around the world that yes, it is about to die or it is going somewhere. So how you look at these things? Like what is your opinion on the mainframes, the growth of mainframe systems?
Yeah, well, thank you. As we celebrate the 60th year of the mainframe this year, I don't see it going away anytime soon. Everybody takes for granted or thinks it's dead, but if you've booked a plane or made a hotel reservation or rented a car, you're interacting with a mainframe. I went to the ATM this morning and I know I'm interacting with a mainframe.
Right.
So there's great value. There's a great customer base there. We've been able to leverage that in the virtual sense with the hypervisor that we run on the mainframe. We have over 450 virtualized guests running on one single mainframe, and we're not taxing that mainframe at all. We have over 5,000 customers, trillions of bytes of data, and we're able to service over 320 courts throughout the state of Virginia, as well as appellate courts and outlaying agencies as well. So I see great strength in the mainframe. There's resilience there. In my career and working mainframe, I think I've experienced one day of downtime because of a mainframe failure. And I'm knocking on wood everywhere when I say that, because it is that resiliency that we count on every day. So I'm a mainframe bigot, if you will. I will stand up and argue with anyone relative to the power of the mainframe, which I have done when we first got into Java and WebSphere. It was positioned to run in the Windows platform. I had a distro SUSE running on the 9672 G5 machine. All I could say is I could IPL it. It couldn't do much because it was running on a CP. But total cost of ownership, along with the Multiprise 3000 that we quickly received with an IFL in it, proved the value of that mainframe and scale relative to not just virtual machines, but the applications and whatnot you have that come along with the mainframe.
Okay, so I think by these statement, it is quite clear to all those who are having doubt on the mainframe system that it is not going somewhere. Even by the time, like it is improving by the time, so everyone
Yeah.
can contribute to this community.
Also encouraging is that universities are now going back to teaching machine languages like assembler
Yes.
and COBOL, Rex, Fortran, things like that, because old guys like myself are sometimes going to venture into the woods, and we need that next generation to keep this going. There's great career value in there. There's great sense of satisfaction in what you're doing, and I think it's a great move for anybody, especially in the university space, to take those courses and seek that career.
Right. Right. Okay. And as an IBM champion, how have you integrated these IBM technologies into your work at the Supreme Court of Virginia? And what values do these technology bring to the judicial system so far?
Well, again, mainframe is a big space for us.
Right.
We're very comfortable in that space, but not just to the IBM Champion community, but in whole, we've been able to leverage other technologies to bring into integration with the mainframe. We have a large x86 presence, running multiple applications that are out facing to the public as well as internal to us. There's huge data transformation efforts underway to better present data in different fashions that's more efficient for not just the court users, but for the public in general. Keeping in mind access to justice is a growing theme, and we want to be as best as we can in providing those services that the public need on a daily basis. The other thing we're able to do is continue to protect and integrate and extend the massive amount of code we have. Being a full development shop, you can imagine we have lines and lines of COBOL code still in production, actually, especially in our batch environment. There's no sense to rewrite that stuff right now when it's working perfectly as it is. We still have COBOL programmers on staff, so we're able to maintain that. And through the IBM Champions Network, having exposure to more forums and more experienced people, we're able to have conversations about how they're leveraging their technologies as well to see if we can't mirror and parallel some of their effort and not have to reinvent everything. So it's a great space to be in. The communities that are available are huge and paramount to the success that we're having here at the court.
Okay. Okay, and now here at this moment, I would like to ask bit about the challenges, because every one of us like sometime face the challenges while implementing something or while learning the things. So like my question is like how you deal with those challenges, specifically like what are some of the biggest challenges you have faced in implementing and maintaining the IT system in the judiciary, particularly regarding security, accessibility, integration, and with the legacy systems. So what was the challenge? What were the challenges, and how you deal with it as a leader member?
Our biggest challenge is talent resource.
Okay.
obtaining them and maintaining them. Being a public entity, a public agency, funding it doesn't match the commercial world relative
Right.
to whether it's a security expert or a programmer or an analyst or anything like that. So we do what we can with what we have, and sometimes you miss out on that level of expertise you need in continuum to launch something and to maintain it. Also, the paradigm now lately is retirement. A lot of folks are retiring after very successful careers here in the technology space, and some of that expertise is going out with them. Knowledge transfer is easy to say, but it's difficult. I know it's probably difficult, and I've seen this happen. Is a technician doesn't necessarily make a good orator, so trying to transfer all those skill sets over is nearly impossible. We try to do that every day, but we're losing that expertise, not just in the technology, what's a COBOL programmer or a computer operator. It's in the community and how the courts work in whole. Knowing the business side of the house as well has been extremely difficult. In the security space, that's probably 9/10 of the day now is maintaining a tight security presence, reviewing those things. But that takes people. It takes people to do that, to work with the great programs, whether they're AI based or AI and have AI impact in them. We still have to have boots on the ground, if you will, to manage those programs, continually tweak them, and look at new opportunities to continue the protection of our data and our people.
Okay. And another thing that we all face during the time of COVID-19 pandemic, that somewhere it has also impacted the work of all the domains, right? So the COVID-19, like they during the COVID-19 pandemic, adoption was accelerated on a high pace in order to adopt the digital tools in many sectors. So how did it impact your particular department approach to technology, department of technology, and what long term changes have been implemented in as a result? Like what all things you faced during that pandemic duration, and what all solutions you have implemented to deal with it?
Sure. I'm sure, as was the case in most shops. In my shop, we thought this was a short-term thing, a couple of weeks, maybe 3 at most. We
Right.
quickly learned that wasn't going to be the case. We had to ramp up our remote capabilities, not just for our technical staff, but
Mhm.
the entire staff of the judiciary.
Mhm.
Many courts were going to a remote hybrid schedule. A lot of our data circuits, most all of our data circuits weren't built to handle the increased bandwidth needed for Teams or WebEx,
Right.
for either remote hearings or just normal communications. We had to beef that up relatively quickly. We're not a bring your own device type shop either, so we have all these remote people needing to get into our system. So we had to really uh, quickly stand up a very tight VPN network, initiate controls,
Right.
maintain tunneling from remote in. All those factors involved making sure that you can identify who's coming in and protect what they're doing while they're here. All in short order. I mean, we had to spin that up very, very quickly because the courts still needed to be open to
Right.
help those people that needed that kind of help. Since then, um, we've maintained in IT a somewhat hybrid remote position. Um, my biggest concern when all that happened was productivity. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to suffer a little bit, but you know, quite frankly, I saw an increase in production,
Okay.
which was amazing. I quickly shifted from worrying about production to worrying about home family life for everybody because I didn't see. I'm not a good work at home person. I'm a that desk person. There's too many distractions at home, and I just figured that was falling upon everybody as well.
Mhm.
So my focus is on the folks that are doing the job every day. Make sure they take their breaks and they separate their office from their home and maintain that family life balance, if you will. Um, so the technology changed in the fact that not only did we provide this hybrid availability across the state for our workers, we now had to advance our technology to protect that kind of stuff, filter a little tighter on the kind of traffic coming in and going out,
Mhm.
increase our internal awareness of security vulnerabilities, both through training and through direct action. Uh, it's really easy to click on a link at home that you might think you're just on your home side of your computer, when in fact, if you're VPN'd in, you can have a vast effect on the network you're connected to. So awareness training became huge. We
Okay.
do that monthly now. There's a lesson every month mandated that everybody takes. So that helps. Some people scoff at that, but I think, and we're seeing great results because of that training.
Okay. Yeah, so we can uh, conclude that yes, it was a tough time for everyone, but through that duration also, like, we have learned a lot, and we have improved our productivity as well, like by taking care of all those obstacles and to deal with it. So yeah. And now, like, I would like to ask you some about some advice. Like, what advice would you like to give to those IT professional, those are aspiring to leadership role, particularly in sectors like government and judiciary, that require a deep understanding of both technology as well as public service. So, what piece of advice would you like to give those IT professionals?
I think the advice stems from my experience.
Hmm.
You listen and know your audience, learn what they're doing, not just from a technology standpoint, but if you're in technology, you're there to service someone or something.
Right.
Learn that someone or something. Learn what they're doing. Spend time with them to
Hmm.
understand. If you're an analyst, you're spending time with that business unit, hearing about how they do things now, so you can help develop a way to do things better. Uh, in that aspect, learning and participating in and and just showing care in what you're doing. There's a job and there's a career. Many people talk about the differences. It's um, a job can be the best thing in the world if you end the day satisfied that you made a difference, and that's been my goal for a bazillion years now to empathize and listen. And I can argue as well. People will tell you I'll stand up right to them and disagree, but in the end, if I have to, I admit my fault too. That's key to continue to change anything into a positive movement and keep going forward. So my biggest advice is to listen and learn.
Okay. All right. Okay, thanks for these advice. And now we can talk bit about the AI technology and machine learning. So how do you see AI and machine learning being integrated into the judicial processes? And are there any specific areas where these technologies are currently being explored or implemented with the judicial system?
My shop is currently in kind of recon mode relative to AI.
Hmm.
Um, yes, we see it being a huge benefit to us in the future, but we have to have a controlled direction to go. We have one vetted third-party application by policy that is allowed to be used on our network. It's
Okay.
primarily for judicial research. We have strict policy in place relative to code cutting and pasting, things like that. Everybody does a Google trying to figure a better way to write this routine or a better way to handle this IO problem or something like that. That's common. But we have to remain somewhat anonymous on how we do that, so we're not accidentally sharing trade secret or
Right.
ingesting something terrible on the back end of the return. So we'll move through that. Currently, I'm engaging a plan to bring on a full-time AI development team
Okay.
that their sole mission will be to investigate, implement, train from soup to nuts relative to AI in the IT application development space, as well as the security spaces here as well. Um, as far as currently engaged, any of those, mainly in the network space, those products that we use to maintain the multiple layers of security we have that have AI tools built in, of course, we leverage those as best we can.
Okay. Okay. And if we talk about the self-learning, so what initiatives or program do you have in a place for the continuous learning and professional development? Because by the time there is a need to improve the skills and to grow with the time. So how do you manage all these things?
Yeah, in IT, we're all about if you want education, we'll find a way to pay for it through tuition reimbursement or taking courses, specific courses in a particular genre, if you will, or skill set. We leverage LinkedIn Learning across the board for everyone. We have a huge learning management system that just came on board a little more than a year ago that has us, I think, over 900,000 courses of any kind, but we're
Okay.
beginning to tailor this down specifically to technology spaces. At least my managers are doing that for their reports to try to find some self-paced learning that's there. Um, Especially even in the management space. We don't have a formal program to bring people through the ranks in career, but I see that as a charge that we need to address. And so we're working to put supervisor courses, time management courses, things like that together that would help anyone, and
Yes.
not necessarily mandate that they take them, but have them readily available for them to take if there's an interest to do that.
Okay. All right.
I'll add one other thing.
Yeah.
Technology courses have been my success early on. From the very first system administration course that the bank took me to, an IBM 2-week course. I've been able to leverage that. I've been to several IBM 2-week courses, or sometimes a month course, whether it's Baker TAM and VTAM or VSAM or VM system and administration. I found that concentrated learning and training most beneficial, especially when you come back and apply it immediately. So my thought is to kind of continue that realm, go out there and learn something, and we're doing that now with some new technologies coming on with OpenShift or ServiceNow, things like that. We're seeking out that training in parallel to bringing those solutions in-house.
Okay. All right. And reflecting on your career, like what do you consider your most significant achievement so far? Like you have explored various things, you have achieved many things. So what is one of the most, I would say, the most significant achievement for you?
Yeah, that's a tough question, Amit. I said my ability to interact with anyone
Okay.
is an achievement of myself. I think that was the root of my success relative to, again, being able to listen, admit fault. And my goal is to turn anything negative into positive. People around here get tired of me saying, "Where's the gold thread?" Because there's always a gold thread in everything, and we're going to spin that to turn whatever's going on into a positive direction, kind of thing. Um, it's not really an achievement, but being recognized by peers has been very humbling to me. I was awarded knighthood in the VM Knights. Uh, Being an IBM champion is certainly a peer-driven award. Um, Receiving the top honor that the court sends out
Hmm.
or through peer nomination, again, very humbling. And sometimes you need that little bit of satisfaction that you are doing something right
Right.
and something. So I'm not going to change the model. We're going to continue to grow in that area, bring others along as we go. But I think my biggest achievement is being able to work with anybody on anything.
Okay. All right. Okay. And what keeps you motivated in your role? Like, are there any particular mentors, books, or experience that have inspired your approach to leadership and technology? Like, who is your role model? I would say the mentor.
Well, what motivates me is making a difference in somebody's life. Early on here,
Okay.
again, practicing what I preach, going and listening and watching and sitting in a court, seeing what they're doing, how they're affecting people,
Hmm.
became uh, a great thing I wanted to do. That uh, my father often told me, if you can go to bed at night knowing you made a difference, that's a good day. And so I've
Okay.
taken that attitude in every day that has me on this earth to try to make some kind of difference. That could be just listening to someone that has a particular problem, not looking to solve it, but just listening. That
Hmm.
could be getting down into code with somebody and walking through trying to find out where the issue is that they're having.
Okay.
It could be satisfaction and just recommending something and sticking behind it and seeing that through fruition. Um, Huge influences, of course, my father. He was in the military, but he wasn't a militarian. He didn't pass that on to the family, but these little nuances uh, have carried through with me through life, and I count on them daily. I kind of exercise them daily. As far as others, we need another half hour. There's been so many people,
Yes.
business partners, IBM people, Carl Haid for one, Barton Robinson for another, Dave Jones, Wilhelm Mild, Bill Bittner, Len Santalucia. I could go on and on and on. All these people have helped me in one fashion or another, either through direct contact and direct action, or just me observing them and seeing how their course and careers have gone, and leveraged, kind of mirrored them in certain ways or taken advantage of their advice. Again, I I can't name everybody, but it's been a great career. Love it. I love what I do.
Okay, all right. Okay, and what are your hobbies? Like how you spend your free time? What you love to do?
Well, I love to play in charity golf tournaments. I'm not good
Okay.
enough to play a single game by myself, but that camaraderie, doing something for someone else, again, it's charity. So I do like to get out on a golf course. I am a private pilot and love to fly when that's time available to do that. But family is first and foremost. Spending time
Yes.
with the six grandchildren that I have is priceless. They're close enough that I get interaction on a regular basis. So that kind of keeps me going and keeps me moving.
Okay, all right. Yeah, this is one of the best way to spend time with the family and to do what you love. So yeah.
Great.
Okay. And like as you mentioned, like we have various topic to discuss and that we can discuss and explore. But just because of the limitation of time, I would like to ask my last question. Like looking ahead, where do you see the judicial system in terms of technology in next 5 to 10 years? At and what role do you hope to play in shaping the future?
Well, I see technology playing a huge role. Again, AI will play a major part in that, as no one's going to be able to deny that usage. I see that improving processes in the court through automation, whether it's form injection or interaction with kiosks or chatbot, whatever, you name it, anything AI I see coming into the mix in a structured way, structured and controlled way. Again,
Right.
protecting the data, protecting the people, and protecting the employees as well. My role in that, I think, will be to maintain the human presence in IT. There's
Okay.
talk that IT will replace people and things. I don't think that's going to happen. At least I won't. I'm going to try not to let that happen here. I see folks as a great asset. You've got to
Right.
have people on the ground interacting, whether it's with interacting with technology or interacting with the customer bases. You still have to have that third entity to fully understand what you're trying to do. And so
Right.
my mission will be do as I always do, provide those tools that my employees need to be successful in both in their jobs and their careers.
Okay. And any specific skill set you would like to recommend to those like who just wanted to start their career with IT industry or maybe some public sector service? So what few things you think that yes, these are the some skills that they should work upon?
Yeah,
So
any kind of object-oriented coding, Java or any language like that will help out, especially uh, in this court. We're always looking for Java developers.
okay.
If you're more analytical in nature and you consider yourself a people person, perhaps a business analyst, go learn that. Learn how to be a project manager. You don't have to be a full-time project manager, but if you can project manage yourself, you're going to be very successful in what you do. Time management is key in these jobs. When you've got several meetings a day, and you've got production deadlines to meet, conferences to go to, you've got to find that balance how you can still maintain a positive progression.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Mike, for joining us in this episode and for sharing all your expertise with us. I hope you also enjoyed the session and thank you so much once again.
Amit, again, thank you for allowing me to do this. It's been great.
Thank you.